What's going on, guys? Welcome to my channel. Today we're going over the Furibee X215 Pro. It's a 5-inch ultra tough mini racing drone for the budgeted minded hobbyist. You're getting a great set of components at a very affordable price. Right now you can get the X215 for just $160 for the B&F with FR Sky receiver and just $150 for the plug and play. With the X215 you can expect a feature-rich quadcopter that is durable, that is powerful, and it should be a blast to fly. Securely held in place in a block of foam, we get not one, not two, but three full sets of 50-48 props, a GoPro mount, and of course the X215. I think the X215 mainly gathers its inspiration from the D-Quad Obsession, which definitely looks like it's a spectacular drone itself, and because of this there have been other similar looking drones. Here is another one. This was the real ACC, which in my opinion was a little overweight, and the performance definitely suffered because of it. Even though it has some very powerful components, we're talking about a 40 amp ESC, 2305 motors, the weight of the hardware and the frame was just too much to overcome, and it was left feeling like a bus. So I've actually flown the Furibee a few times now, and I am happy to say that it does not have the same issues. The power generated from the X215 was more than enough to counteract the weight of the drone itself. In fact, you really don't feel the weight of it at all. There is enough power to where the X215 is easily or effortlessly propelled into the air, which I think these clips clearly show. Alright, let's take a closer look at the X215, and we're going to start off with the frame. This is the weirdest looking carbon fiber weaving that I've ever seen. It's definitely unique, and for my testing I believe it's very strong. There's absolutely no flex, the arms are extremely stiff. I've also had some very nasty crashes. This is when my X215 initiated a flip of death a good 100 feet in the air, at least. It's something that I have yet to fix because I don't know what the exact problem is, but if I had to guess, I would say it's related to the ESCs. Okay, so the frame is made up of 10 individual pieces, including the aluminum canopy. The arms measure in at 4 millimeters thick. The rest of the carbon fiber pieces measure in at 2 millimeters thick. This is actually a very practical frame. There's plenty of room for your components, which by the way are very well protected. At the end of the arms, it ends with a pointy edge that sticks out approximately 15 millimeters from the motors, acting as a built-in motor guard. In the event of a crash, the pointy area would take the brunt of the impact, basically saving your motors. There's also holes in the super strong aluminum, allowing you to easily slide in a Velcro strap in the case you wanted to attach a GoPro camera. And last of all, the two carbon fiber side plates you see here are actually the camera mount, and there are two screws holding the camera, allowing for easy adjustability. And next up we have some 2206 motors rated at 2600 kV. They are unmarked, but they do look very similar to the Brother Hobby returner motors. I think for most who have flown the X215, they feel that the motors provide plenty of power, and of course I do too. These are a great set of motors. The motors come with non-locking prop nuts. Standard size lock nuts don't fit very well. They are just a bit too tall. So if you plan on using lock nuts, make sure to get some low profile ones, as the nylon lock portion of the standard size nuts don't even reach the threads. And on the back of the quad we have a low voltage buzzer with some built-in LEDs. The buzzer will sound off when your battery drops to a predefined voltage, which you can adjust to suit your needs through Betaflight. You can also bind it to a switch to help you locate your quad in the event you crash and can't find it. With the aluminum canopy removed, we'll have access to the 3-level stack consisting of a VTX, flight controller, and ESC, all of course using the 30.5mm mounting holes. The third level is the TX35, which brings you the latest and greatest when it comes to features. The 5.8 GHz 40 channel VTX has a switchable power scheme that can run at 25, 300, or 0 milliwatt, also known as pit mode. The transmitter can run both PAL and NTSC video modes, and it will remember your power scheme and settings that you last used, and it will load it the next time you power up. To change the settings, you can either use the button, or if you're using Betaflight firmware 3.2 and newer, you can adjust all the settings using your radio and goggles. On level 2, we have another amazing component, and that is the Holy Broca Kutay F4. This flight controller is blazing fast, has Betaflight OSD, a built-in soft-mounted gyro, and with the included ESCs, you can run them both at 16 kHz rates. The flight controller by itself is stated to be able to run at 32K, but the ESCs won't allow anything higher. Doing so will cause the CPU load to jump to 100% load. And the last layer is, of course, the 30 amp BL Heli S ESC. It's a 4-in-1, so not only does it keep the clutter down, but it's a good way to reduce the weight as well. As I stated earlier, the ESCs and flight controller are both able to run at 16 kHz max, and with the BL Heli S ESCs, the highest protocol you will be able to run is D-Shot 600. From day one, I was having issues with my X215. Whenever I would flip or roll more than once, I would get the flip of death. After doing a little research online, my suspicions were verified in it being the ESCs were at fault. Well, here's the fix. All you have to do is adjust a few settings in BL Heli Suite and Betaflight, and the flip of death or desyncs, however you want to call it, should be fixed. Alright, so first you're going to want to change all ESCs from reverse to normal in BL Heli Suite. Then for each motor, you'll swap one wire with any of the other 3 wires and do this for each motor. Next, you'll lower the startup power. The RC Group's post didn't mention what to lower it to, so I just lowered it down to 0.063, and you're going to do this for all the ESCs. Then go to Betaflight and you'll increase the min throttle. I increased mine to 5.2, so hopefully this will work. And I'll post in the description or the comments whether I was able to get it working when I get a chance. Alright, let's move on to the camera. It's a 1200 TVL CCD camera with a 2.5mm lens. It produces a very nice picture. It's bright and very detailed, as you can see here. What makes this camera special is the built-in OSD toggle located on the back of the camera. You could adjust various camera settings like contrast, brightness, exposure, as well as a multitude of other options basically on the fly. And with the TX35, the camera definitely makes for a great FPV setup. Alright, let's check out some flight clips while I talk some more. The X215 is an ultra durable, high performance racing drone that utilizes awesome components like the Kutay F4 flight controller, a great FPV setup, powerful motors, and more. Although I did run into an issue with the ESC, which hopefully have been resolved with the quick fix I posted earlier, I still think this is one awesome race drone. For the price, you're definitely getting your money's worth. In fact, I would say the same for any of the Furibee drones that have been recently released. All are high performance drones with great components, and basically the only thing you need to decide on is which frame style you prefer most. This was probably my 4th or 5th flight with the X215. The performance exceeded my expectations. The motors provide a ton of thrust, and the flight controllers definitely make the quad feel super smooth and easier to fly. As for the picture quality, as you can see, very nice. With that being said, if you like the way the X215 looks, go get it, because I think you'll be very happy with the way that it flies. I'm gonna keep the flight clips playing, but no more talking starting now.